Well, a very happy good afternoon to you all. I hope you're having a wonderful day and the sun is breaking through wherever you are. Thank you for taking the time to join us today on episode one or series one of our three-part mini series around AI. It's a really fantastic initiative that's going to lead to each series or each episode or however you want to call it, having some outcomes that build into the next one. So I'm super excited to see where it goes. Today's is based on Copilot. What can it actually do? If you got a Copilot license today, what can you do today that will make a difference in your business and in your workflows? So as always, I'm going to throw to Liam, but please put your questions in the chat. We will leave some time at the end to come back to them and make sure that we address them. So without further ado, over to you, Liam.
Thanks, Anna. Today we're going to be focusing on where Copilot is up to, talking about Viva training, the built-in agents that come with Copilot, and some additional tools that are in there. We're not covering the free version, Copilot Chat, that you access via the Microsoft portal. That's already available to everyone with a Microsoft license, and it has a number of benefits, the most notable being that putting content into the Copilot Chat keeps it inside your Microsoft tenancy. So there's less concern about that being used for training or getting outside of your organization. Of course, if you're only using Copilot to write emails and summarize documents, this session is for you to take the next step and get something of benefit. Also worth highlighting just at the start is that in this session, we're focused on the personal productivity stream. So there are two paths around how an organization adopts AI. Both are important. You need to be evaluating that personal journey. How do I get my own knowledge and skill level up? How do I save myself time and get some benefits? But then from a business perspective, how do we make sure that this adds value to the organization? Is it growing our revenue? Is it saving us time? Is it making our staff have a better experience at work, etc.? So we're focused on that personal productivity side of the cycle today. So first things first, getting access to some training and support. Viva training is inside of Microsoft. You can access it through your Teams portal. You can also access it just through the web directly at learning.cloud.microsoft. There's heaps of topics in there and they're growing all the time. I would encourage, if you're a new starter to Copilot, or even you've just got 15 minutes on a Friday afternoon and you're thinking, I wonder if there's something new I could do, jump in and do have a look at some of the topics that are in there. There is a number of streams of information flowing in. So if you want to filter it down, when you're inside of Viva Learning, you can click on the Academies button and the Microsoft Copilot Academy, and you will just get training about Copilot. I've been through a number of the courses, and I would say 50% of them have been really helpful. Some of them are really basic, and here's how you might use Copilot to summarize an email is probably not a lesson that any of us need, but it might be something that's beneficial for someone in your team. So do share it around, encourage people to take advantage of the Viva courses because they're so short, specific, and targeted to this particular area. I can definitely endorse them to you. Okay, built-in agents. So an agent is a programmed series of actions or steps or a focused generative AI interface that does a particular thing. So when we say agent, we're just talking about a narrowed down subset of something in this AI space for the purposes of this conversation. Those that are added, as soon as you get a Copilot license added onto your account, a number of agents become available to you. So two I want to draw your attention to, which when you're in the portal view, so portal.office365.com, on the left-hand side, underneath your chat window, you've got the agent researcher and analyst. So the researcher agent, it is a deep multi-step research across internal and external data. Again, if you've got a Copilot license, it can look through your SharePoint environment, through your, like Liam can see Liam's emails, Liam can see Liam's calendar, Liam can see Liam's meeting transcripts all through that interface. Whereas if you're not licensed, you don't get that extra depth of engagement. So it will combine OpenAI's deep research model with Microsoft 365 Copilot's orchestration and brings all of this data together. That's a little bit different to the analyst agent, which is advanced data analytics and insight generation. I will post a link to that one in the chat. Jono, thank you for the question. So this turns raw data into actionable insights pretty quickly. So if you've got a number of spreadsheets, or if you just want to parse it, a big old slab of text, Analyst is great for trawling through that content and spotting patterns and creating ROI opportunities. And the other one that I want to focus on today or highlight today is the facilitator agent. If you are in Teams meetings a lot, the facilitator agent can join that meeting with you. It can take notes. It can review the agenda. The agenda it will pull automatically from the calendar invite. It can remind you that you've got questions that were asked during the meeting that haven't been answered yet. A number of really cool features. So let's just look at a worked example. Now, because I'm in web demo mode, I'm not going to do this live. We're just going to show screenshots of the activity. I have learned my lessons from live demos. This is the researcher agent. Here is a post that I gave it a couple of days ago. I won't read it out, but basically I've said, okay, I'm a marketing person, or I'm in a small business and I don't have a full-time marketing person and I need to develop my marketing strategy. Tell me about what the best IT service providers are doing in the industry. And so I hit go, and the researcher agent went away and thought about it. It did that for about 15 minutes. So I went and did something else and then came back to it. Here is two screenshots. You can see on the left there, the number of stats that it brought back, or the number of insights that it brought back, were extensive. I've just zoomed in a little bit so you can get a sense of the detail. There are some gaps here, just as I've anonymized some company names that it brought back. So it's highlighting, in this case, here's some key campaign types. This is what people are doing in regards to webinars and events, content marketing, brand refreshes, out-of-home advertising. And so these organizations that it mentions here, it's showing what they're doing, what's worked well for them. And again, you can see in that slightly more zoomed out screenshot on the left, all of the different details that are coming back from this big researched effort. I then get all of this data to work out, what am I going to do about this? And we're going to come back to that in just a moment. I just want to show you as well an example from the facilitator agent. So I've joined my meeting. In this case, I've actually got a screenshot here from a meeting I joined recently. I was about 12 minutes late to the meeting. So I jumped into the chat and said, and you can see it on the right-hand side, I was late to the meeting. Can you bring me up to speed, facilitator? And I haven't listed, I've cropped it off a little bit there, but it basically provided me then with a bullet point summary of all the discussion points that had been already addressed in that meeting. So I didn't need to say to somebody, what have I missed? I didn't need to read the transcript to try and work out what they were up to. I posted a follow-on question to say, have any questions been asked that haven't been answered yet? And it then listed that it was one or two questions that had been sort of left open at that point. So I was able to join in with that meeting pretty quickly and provide useful contributions without having that feeling, I don't know if you have that, where you're like, oh, do I say this? Someone's probably mentioned it already, and so you feel a bit hesitant to speak up. But I was able to just dive straight into it and share the content that I could see was missing or needed. The facilitator agent can also take notes. I mentioned earlier on, they can live into a loop component. So if you've not used Loop before, LOOP, it's a Microsoft feature or app. Those Loop notes allow the facilitator agent to build out the notes. I can jump in and correct and update those notes. If Anna's on that call with me, she can update those notes. She can assign something to me. All of that can be happening collaboratively as this generative AI agent is also trying to help keep that meeting note-taking flowing. Some additional Copilot tools. So one of the, again, on that left-hand side, underneath agents, there's two boring line drawing options there, notebooks and create. Now, there are plenty more examples. So you can use Copilot to create a slide deck, or to help you with your Excel spreadsheets. I don't know if anyone's used, you open your Excel document up, you've got a Copilot license, and you get that banner at the top. Hey, I've found some errors, or I found some mistakes in your formulas, or I found some inconsistencies. Do you want me to fix those for you? And it drops you straight to that point in the spreadsheet, and you go, yep, actually, that's a mistake. And I cannot count the number of times I've worked on a document that has had a formula that hasn't filled properly down, or someone's inserted a line. I haven't known that, and I've come back and something is not working right. So there's so much more that you can do with Copilot, or that you can get support. But just focusing again in this agent space, Notebook excels really at structured analysis, data visualization, and iterative refinement. What's different about it that I want to just highlight is that within a notebook, you choose the content that goes into that notebook. So, for example, I've got a notebook for leadership materials. The books that I've enjoyed the most and found the most inspiring, challenging, and aligned to my values are in a notebook called Leadership Content. So when I'm preparing for a training session for some of our team members around leadership, I actually have that conversation with the notebook chat agent around, here's the topic we want to address today. What do we want to do about that? And it will provide me with some insights based on my defined content set. I have one for a business framework that we're aligned to. We happen to align to EOS. And so we have all of that content around what is EOS, implementation strategy, our organizational policy and structure around EOS is all put into one place. And so I can have a conversation with that subset of data. I can even then say to that notebook, please provide me an audio summary comparing topic A and topic B. Or please provide me with an audio briefing statement that can be used to bring a new person on our team up to speed on what we're doing in this area of our business at the moment. So notebooks are really great at just providing a containerized view of a subset of areas, and you don't have all of these other ideas floating around, and then you can create content from that. Create is the media output tool. So you can do things like creating images, creating videos, infographics, posters. You can build in a brand kit if you want, or if you don't want, you don't have to, and you can iterate and design directly, which is a bit different to some of the other generative AI tools that are out there. Gemini is one that I use a lot. I'm a big fan of that product. But when I create an image, that's it. It's now a JPEG file and I can't change it, whereas in this case I can. So let's just look briefly at the Create product. So clicking into Create, I'm now faced with this view to say, what do I want to do? And I create an image or a video or an infographic. And so I'm going to create an infographic. And you'll remember earlier on, we've just done this research work and I've now got all of this marketing data and I have to work out, how do I present this to the team? What do I need to do to make sure that others can understand the roadmap of the stages? And so I take all of my output and I'm literally going to copy and paste it into my platform here. So actually, let me just go back a page. On the left-hand side there, you've got describe your infographic. That's where I've just copy pasted a massive slab of text in there. In that color code, I've chosen VITD's branding colors. I've selected infographic. You can see here I've chosen the timelines view, and I'm now going to hit create. So it presents a bunch of drafts. It says, hey, Liam, here's 4 examples. Do you like one of these? And I've decided, yeah, I like that one on the top left. That looks pretty good and like it hits my interests. So I've clicked into that one, but some of the text hasn't nailed it, hasn't quite captured the intention that I want, or maybe it's not the font that I like, or maybe most of it's good, but one icon is wrong. I'm just going to double click into any of those areas and change it, swapping out icons, text, font sizes, font formatting, any of those things. And I can quickly edit and update that. And then from there, I can go straight into pushing that out to a PDF that I can then share with the team. So as someone in a team, but perhaps with a limited area of skill or enough to know what I'm trying to achieve, but not really sure how to make a start on how do I research all of that, where I might have spent hours and hours spread out over weeks, I've spent about 30 minutes creating something which is an excellent positioning paper, captures my ideas and gets everyone on the same page. And then I can move that forward from there. So there's a variety of different things that Create can do. One other thing that I just want to demonstrate, which I personally find really great, it saves me a lot of time as well. So remember we talked about facilitator, it's living in that Teams chat. So I've recorded my Teams meeting. After the meeting, I've got to work out how do I communicate the outcomes? How do I identify all of the tasks? Now, I'm someone who loves taking notes. If you've seen my note taking, then you will know nothing is more pleasing for me than a beautiful summary of a meeting that I attended. And so I'm going to use Copilot to help me do a really great job. Now, I still take some notes, but I'm taking less and less and relying more and more on this meeting transcript. Previously, I would have used that transcript as a reference point. I'd go back, I'd read through it and go, yeah, okay, I missed that, or that piece of tone was really important, but I can work that back through into what I'm doing. But now what I can do is I open up my Copilot chat window, I start hammering in some text. Following my meeting, I hit /, and I now get this pop-up box here. It's saying, okay, what do you want to reference here with this /? So for me, I can then reference all of the different elements that I want to build into my prompt. So following my meeting, /, just select a meeting straight out of my diary, which turns up in that pop-up view. I need to prepare a brief for the leadership group and identify actions. Please consider the emails between, I've done another /, and typed in a name of someone in my team, Roy, and I. The notes I took, /, and I've referenced my OneNote notebook. And so I'm not telling it any details about which part of that notebook. It's just going to go and look at the notebook and work out when was it edited, what's changed. I use date headings in my notes, so it's pretty quick and easy for it to find that. And I'm also going to reference what we've been discussing in a Teams channel, because we had a team that was discussing what was going to be discussed in that meeting and then what we heard about that meeting. So I'm saying in this Teams channel from the last 24 hours. So I've spent 30 seconds writing this message prompt, and I'm asking it to reference all of these different locations. And I've asked it for an email I can use to brief my leadership team and the actions outcome. And as you can see here, I've now got these two pieces, and I've just put them side by side so that you can see them more easily. But I've got on my left there a nice email summary. It's providing a meeting overview. It's providing key insights, and the email goes off the page because it was a little bit long, because it was quite a lot of content. But then it's also got my actions required, and it's listed all of those as well. So you've got to do our pilot rollout, our policy and template development, etc. So instead of me having to go through all of those places and try and remember and consolidate, I have asked it to gather all of that content together. Now, in my world, that's a draft. I will still go through that. I am responsible for that content that I put into an email or into our project management platform, etc. I can't just say, oh, AI made me do it. It has to be still my work. But I'm reviewing that content rather than hunting all of these bits of information from meeting transcripts, notes that I've taken, Teams and email conversations. And more I'm finding that as I practice writing my prompts, I'm getting slightly better outputs and bits of information. So I've gone through this pretty quick. I know that it's recorded, so if there's anything that you want to hear again, of course, you'll be able to go back and do that. But I want to set you some homework or some challenges as we continue on this series to prepare for what we're going to be looking at in the next session. So I'd encourage you, complete a Viva training session. Some of them are quite short. Some go for like 7 or 8 minutes, some 2 or 3 minutes. Find one, have a go at one. That whole note-taking thing that I demonstrated came for me out of a Viva training session. Try 3 new Copilot tools. So whether that's having Copilot help you with an Excel document, or create a PowerPoint slide deck, or use Researcher or Analyst or Notebook, or create a funny photo, create an infographic that helps explain a big, long, boring email that you're going to expect your team to read, create an infographic to sit at the head of that. Just try 3 things. Share 5 wins in 5 days in a relevant channel in your organization. So it might be that you're right at the leading edge and not everyone in your team is there. So you might have 1 or 2 people and you've got a little DM chat among each other. Share among one another some things that it's helped you, a win every day. You might be organizationally in full adoption mode. So in that case, share it in that open space and really inspire and encourage those around you. Create and share a gallery prompt to help others to get a win. So As I said, went through here quickly just so that we could get to this point. I just wonder if anyone does have any questions from what we've shown today or anything that they'd like to understand a little bit more about.
While people put their questions in there, I did have one that I prepared earlier for you, Liam. It's just around the costing models of Copilot. So when Copilot initially launched, and I guess what a lot of people still view it as is a really huge investment, one-off for the year in the hundreds of dollars per person. How are Microsoft working to make it more accessible? Are they working to make it more accessible? And how can the people in this chat look to actually get the benefits from what you're saying?
Yeah, fair. Copilot is an expensive piece of software. There's no two ways about that. Microsoft, when it first came out, it was by a full year in advance, and I think a number of people have written it off since that time. It is now available on a monthly subscription or a monthly payment model, which can help people approach it. Something which we'll talk a little bit more about in the next session is creating your own agents in your own organization. But we've just created one recently to help our service delivery team get fast access to our customer data. So they're not having to go to different documentation pieces. They can just chat with that data. So previously, you would have to have been licensed for a Copilot license yourself to get access to that. But now we can license just the conversation. And so that's driving those things down to cents per conversation. So there is definitely a variety of models emerging. So don't be afraid, I guess, that if you discover Copilot is great for this handful of people, that you're going to end up having to buy a license for everybody. Whether you do or don't is, a question that you will cross the bridge on. But we're working with an organization who are doing a SharePoint uplift. They're migrating a number of data sources in so that they can then chat with those data sources more intelligently. They don't want to have to give their entire organization a Copilot license, so they'll be doing that via the pay-as-you-go option.
Nice. Good question from Ben here. How does Teams Premium work with Copilot, and do you need Teams Premium in some of these features that you've been talking about?
Yeah, cool. So Teams Premium does include a number of features that we would refer to as AI-backed or AI features. You don't need Teams Premium. And as is always the case, Microsoft are not making it clear and easy to understand exactly where the different pieces fall. The number of things in Microsoft's licensing sphere that have the word Copilot in it at the moment is extensive, which is a little bit frustrating, but we can happy to field any of those questions perhaps as you bump into them. In terms of some of the benefits of Teams Premium, things like being able to have a consistent meeting experience, getting better access to meeting transcription and facilitator and so on. But being able, you can also do those things through Copilot. Often where it comes, where the line is drawn is during and after the meeting. So for example, if you've got a meeting that you record, you can target that through your Copilot licensing for provide me with a summary, provide me with actions, identify opportunities for me to improve my communication or my tone or any of those kinds of things. Whereas Teams Premium can provide some of that coaching advice, perhaps more on the fly. But yeah, if there's a specific area that you want to dig into, happy to look at that with you, but then each is not required for the other.
Yeah, so Shane's just clarifying, and I'm hearing that is what you're saying, is that he can turn off Teams Premium for his Copilot test users then and still get the benefits.
Yeah, and it would be worth doing that just to verify which one is going to do the things that you want. So we have some people in our organization who live and breathe Teams meetings. So for them, the Teams Premium does actually provide some benefits. But for the most part, yeah, we're getting far more benefit out of the Copilot licensing.
So, good question from Jono here, and I've seen your question, Luke, as well, so we'll come to that. Does the facilitator work for in-person meetings, and can it distinguish different voices?
I haven't seen it work in person very effectively yet. And Microsoft is advertising that it can distinguish voices if it has the voice profiles or if it has the data to do that. Again, I haven't seen that done. We're running a pilot internally to try and get this working for ourselves. Once you start getting those kinds of note-taking benefits in an online meeting, you start questioning, why am I doing anything in person? And then, of course, you risk losing all of those benefits of an in-person meeting. So we definitely plan on answering that question for ourselves. But at this stage, you can't flip a switch and have that functionality. It's something that would need to be crafted or curated. In the meeting, though, determining different people, no problem, as long as they're all signed in. But if you've got multiple people sharing a microphone, it does seem to be trying, and I think we will see this area evolve, but it's not necessarily doing a very good job right now.
Fair enough. Luke's mentioned that obviously you spoke about the Viva Learning module, how you found it valuable, but also that it's hit and miss. Can we or can you recommend to us when we send out this recording for everyone who's attended, maybe the most suitable one to follow up from this presentation that you've viewed so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you do go into Viva Learning and go to the Microsoft Copilot Academy, so select that drop-down list from the top menu there from the different academies. Within there, you've got some different sections, and one of those sections is everyday scenarios with Copilot. That's the one I found the best by far. It's opened my mind to some possibilities and has given me some great tips. I've gone then further than the training showed me, but it really got me out of my chair and going, oh, okay, I'm missing out. I've got this license and I'm not getting benefits from it. So it does a great little video around, or a great little session around better meetings, creating content, and Monday morning, which I think are all useful starting places.
All right, and we can grab those links and pop them in the email, no problems.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome. This question's from me because I'm a skeptic. Does it really save you that much time since you've been engaging with Copilot after you know some of these activities that you've shown us? How much more productive has it actually made you? And in light of that, is it actually worth the investment in your perspective?
Yeah, I mean that's a that's a good question and a little bit philosophical. For me, I would say yes. I'll share a stat which really has challenged my thinking in this area, which is currently, and this is in the US, more than 50% of people are paying for their own AI tool at work, i.e. the workplace has not paid for it, or they want access to a particular tool that is not licensed through their workplace, and they're doing that themselves. That tells me how valuable that tool is being perceived to those individuals, whether it's personal benefit, feeling better, or actual productivity. So bear that in mind. For me, though, I mean, you saw some of those things that I prepared for today. That was all prepared for today, and I think that took me about 40 minutes to prepare today's presentation in terms of doing the research, kicking those different graphics together and so on. You can imagine if you've got a customer-facing role where you're preparing content, you're in meetings all day, and then at the end of the day, you've got to come back around that and work out, oh, what are my actions? And I've forgotten those things. Even just that sense of, I now know where to start. It's not so hard, like the blank page thing. I'm just going to jump into my Copilot window. I'm going to kick off some of my standard prompts and get that ball rolling. That stuff just helps me get better traction when I'm working. And does it save me time? Absolutely. I mean, it would be impossible for me to say no, but even if it took me as long, I would feel better having been able to make a start where I would otherwise get overwhelmed by that blank page feeling of, oh, okay, I'm staring at a new email. I've got to write a meeting summary. I've got to report back on how we went against the agenda. That's all work that is really easily replaced. So yeah, I get a lot of benefit.
Awesome. Well, that brings us almost completely to the end of our time. I wanted to leave a few minutes just to talk about what's coming next. So, what we'll be doing is sending out the recording on this, the homework. We'd really love you to give it a go if you attended the session. Coming on from that, then the next one is an AI agent build, live build in our next Lunch and Learn in this mini series that will be on the 11th of November, and we'll put the registration link in the email for you. That's going to be really cool and worth seeing. We've just had an agent, as Liam said, deployed for our EOS, so you can ask it questions about the project, the plan. I was blown away. So small things can make a really big difference, and we're hoping that we're equipping you as we go. Otherwise, thank you for coming. It is 1:45, and you will be hearing from us shortly. Oh, Luke, you've got a question or you've raised your hand, but you won't be able to speak, so you may need to put it in the chat. So
I'll hang on the call. I've got some time,
yeah.
so any questions I can stick
Accident,
around
no
for.
worries. Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's got any more questions, we'll hang around for another 5 minutes, but we do want to keep to the time and the schedule and respect that you've all got busy days and lunch is short and sweet in most of your days. So thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one on the 11th of November.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good
Shane.
one.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool. Doesn't look like there's any more questions, so I'm going to jump to Anna. Have a good afternoon.
Awesome. Have a great afternoon, everyone.